We have on Mr. Joshua Latimer, who is a rock star serial entrepreneur. And we talk all about how to systemize your business, how to make more money, and how to radically give it away. So after a quick episode sponsor break, we're going to be diving in. Do you want blissful balance in your personal and professional life? Great. What's up, guys? My name is Kerry Jack, and I want to help you happy hustle a life you love, one full of passion, purpose, and positive impact. I'm a lifestyle entrepreneur, a professional model / actor, a digital marketing specialist, a podcast host, author, a biohacker, an eco-warrior, a martial artist, a hippie cowboy, and a humanitarian. My goal is to educate, inspire, and entertain you to live a life of passion, purpose, and positive impact. It is time to happy hustle your dream reality. Yee-yee! Josh Latimer, welcome to the Happy Hustle Podcast, my brother. I am super stoked to rock the mic.
Me too. Kerry Jack, the only guy I know that's like a horse wrangling, samurai sword wielding, guitar playing, actor, model, guru guy.
Oh,
thank you for having me, my friend.
Yeah, man. Mine is the guru. I like to be the reporter. That's what I always like say. You know, the reporter reports what's working. You know, the guru, I feel like there's ego involved, but maybe not. Maybe that's just, a belief I need to break down.
I think it's a dirty word, the word guru. But I will say, when you do reporting enough, or when you affiliate with successful people enough, when you immerse yourself in enough content, you do learn lots of stuff. And you probably aren't aware of all the stuff you do know, because it happens through osmosis a little bit at a time, over time. But you blew my brain apart when I met you first in Idaho at a very exclusive event. And everybody loves you, man. I connected really quickly with you. So.
Oh, dude, I appreciate those kind words, brother. And I mean, I'm really inspired by you, truly, because you married your high school sweetheart, Ashley, who is just such a rock star, just a beacon of light in the room. You're a first generation entrepreneur. You started your journey in a trailer park with very humble roots. Yeah, shout out to Trailer Park Living. Woo! And you're actually a father of 5 kids. You have multiple successful, like 7+ figure entrepreneurial ventures. How many companies do you have right now?
I have a lot, but most of them I don't actively participate in. Like I said, on the board of a couple. We just started a nonprofit, or I'll have minority stakes in a variety of different companies where other operators are operating them. I'm actively building one core company, and kind of a second one with a business partner. So a couple, but we have dozens of things that, we've accumulated over the years. But it all started in the freaking trailer park, which is, so shout out to my trailer park people out there.
I love it, man. I mean, you're definitely a happy hustler, man. And I wanted to bring you on the mic because, you embody not only like the hustle part, but the happy part. Like you and you're just your energy. It's contagious. And I love highlighting entrepreneurs who have the whole package, because I think there's a lot of entrepreneurs who are just successful, quote unquote, financially, but their marriage is falling apart, their family, their kids don't know them. They're not like giving to others. They're not, people of faith. Yep. And I see you, and you have, I mean, obviously we all have our flaws. Let's call it what it is. You're not perfect. I'm not perfect. No one is. But I love to highlight people like you who are the holistic approach to happiness. So I like to kick things off with a bang. And really, I want to hear your backstory throughout, but I think it gets a little bit monotonous when you, especially going on lots of podcasts, like, tell me about your story. Let's hear, what was it like in 5th grade, and what was your breakthroughs? I like to jump right into like your greatest lessons that you could provide to the happy hustlers to just add a bunch of value. And we're talking about systems specifically, and money today. Systems to just set you free inside your business, and money to ultimately have that abundance. First, let's talk about systems. With you, in all of the companies that you've consulted, I know you've consulted for thousands of entrepreneurs in different businesses. When you look at systems, what is like the number one mistake that you see consistently within businesses?
People think that they need or are missing systems, and they fail to realize that they already have a 100% fully systemized life and business right now. Like they look at it weird. So if you have a broken company, it's already systemized. It's filled with bad systems. And I think that reframe helped me a ton. Like, if you don't follow up with your customers, you have a zero touch follow-up system, which
Yep.
it's just not that good of a system, right?
Yeah, exactly.
If you the way you talk to yourself in the mirror is a system. The way that you parent your children is a system. System just means the way that something is done, the way that you do a thing. All
Mm.
of us already have a way that we do things, and not doing a thing is a system. It's just a broken system, right? If you don't know how to sell stuff, you have a 0% close rate sales system, right? So, again, understanding that words like systems are loaded words
Mm.
because people think that they know what it means. But chances are you haven't went deep enough down the nuanced rabbit hole to really get a powerful breakthrough from it. Make a super simple list of all the obvious broken systems. Most people already know what we need to do. We're just not doing it. It's
Mm.
not so much a systems problem. In a lot of cases, it's a behavior problem. I've struggled with my weight my whole life, kind of up and down, mostly up. Sometimes I get jacked for a minute. But what'll happen is, like, I don't have a system problem per se. I don't have an information problem. I don't need to read 5 books about health and fitness and weight loss. I have a behavior problem,
Mm.
a belief problem. There's an identity problem. There's all
Mm.
these other things. So systems are required for success, good systems. You don't have to be perfect, but it's something to think about.
Yeah, and I know you presented at that mastermind at Bart Miller. Shout out to Bart Miller. That was a really interesting perspective when it comes to systems, because I know you talked about it. Like, you already have a system. All the happy hustlers out there watching and listen, like, right now, if your bank account is not reflective of the desired amount, well, unfortunately, your current system is not obviously producing the results that you desire. So you need to change it. And it's like, if your
Yeah.
marriage is on the rocks, potentially your system of how you connect with your spouse needs to be shifted. It's like, I think awareness is the first step to any change. And you just like bringing that to light in such a simplified way was actually an aha moment for me, a golden nugget, will you, as we say at the mastermind. When it comes to actually like redoing or creating successful systems, walk us through that process.
Sure. And, everyone listening, including me, like, our bank accounts are exactly correct, right? Our bank accounts are perfectly calibrated to produce exactly what it has produced.
Yeah, yeah.
Like the things we did or we did not do 3 months ago, your bank account is a lagging indicator of those decisions, good, bad, or ugly. And I don't say that to shame people at all. I mean, we were so poor, Carrie, and not just poor financially, but poor mindset wise, skill set wise. Like, everything. I did everything the hard way. I joke I have a bachelor's degree in pain and a master's degree in suffering, and I do not. I don't want the PhD and whatever would be after that. I guess misery, PhD of misery, maybe. I don't want that. So if you can learn from my, stupid mistakes, when it comes to systems, step one is to figure out what you want to optimize for. So in sales and marketing, sometimes we call it a QER, a quantifiable end result, because this is a huge topic. I mean, we're talking about parenting, we're talking about fitness, we're talking about mindset, we're talking about bank account, we're talking about more profit in your business. There's 100 things you could optimize for. What's the one big domino that you want to focus on? And you start with that. You begin with the end in mind. So, for example, if you want to make more profit in your business, there's like big obvious things to start with, and then we clean up the little things and calibrate and tighten up everything else. But most people are like 1 or 2 moves away from radically different outcomes. And then, there's 1,000 other systems you can bolt on, but there's probably 1 or 2 big, obvious, scary monsters we need to like punch in the mouth, and like massive change happens. Some people double or triple their income, or they finally quit their job, or they finally get the courage to do this thing or ask that girl out or whatever. And there's a couple systems, a couple obvious ones, like maybe your confidence. Maybe we focus on confidence. Maybe we focus on consistency. Maybe we focus on changing your community. Maybe we focus on getting you more clarity. So there's a lot of ways to take it, but it's probably 1 or 2 big dominoes. And you can figure out what those are by first clarifying what the quantifiable end result is that you want. What do you want?
Yeah, that's gold. Quantifiable end result. Like you have to start with the end in mind. It's like people who, shoot a bow and arrow, but they don't have a clear target. They're going to miss every time. And it seems so simple with that example, but most of us will wake up and we just kind of are reactive to what comes our way rather than proactive and being very deliberate and intentional with our actions. And I'd love that you talk about, the quantifiable end result. And this goes for every different component in your business and in your life, and that's the beautiful thing about it. Now, when you have successful systems in your team, and I know you have been in the weeds with tons of businesses, what are like the KPIs that you really track when it comes to optimizing a business?
Profit is for sanity and revenue is for vanity. You ever heard that before?
No, I like it.
I mean, in like this weird internet marketing world we live in, or think of like ClickFunnels 2 Comma Club awards. Everybody's seen those if you're in business, right?
Yeah.
I made $1 million in my funnel, and there's like 1,000 people have gotten that. Some people get the 10 million and the 25 million. A few people have gotten the $100 million things. And I know some of these guys. I know a ton of the ClickFunnels people. I've gotten them. But what people don't realize is that revenue is a vanity metric. So revenue is important. We need to track it. Whatever's measured can be managed. Whatever's measured will improve. But profit is really what's up, right? Would you rather have a $2.3 million business that nets you $200K and you work 50 hours a week? Or would you rather have a $350,000 business that nets you $310,000 personal income and you work 11 hours a week?
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Apologies for interrupting your programming. But I have to tell you, the best investment you can make in yourself is one in which helps you acquire skills. You've probably heard people talk about, oh, just invest in yourself and you'll be successful. Yes, that's true to a degree, but you have to invest in skills that will ultimately help you achieve your desired results. And I think one of the best skills one can possess, be it an entrepreneur or an aspiring entrepreneur, is the sales sword. Really knowing how to sell, utilizing pressure-free persuasion, which will make you more money and more impact. Now, if you want to know how to sell more efficiently and effectively, I just launched a sales course called The Proven Roadmap Process to Selling Millions of Dollars and helping you to increase your conversions guaranteed. And you can get access to this new sales course that The Happy Hustle is launching at thehappyhustle.com/sales. And if you act fast, you'll get it at the lowest price it'll ever be available because we are launching it and we want to gain amazing testimonials and social proof to further share this knowledge. So if you act fast, you can get it at the lowest price it'll ever be. That's at thehappyhustle.com/sales. Now let's get back to this episode.
So I don't think there's like a right or wrong answer to that. I just know that on average, most people would take the least complex, more profitable version out of that equation, right? Not everyone would, fair enough, but most people would.
Yeah.
So you want to make sure you're optimizing for the right thing. I actually had a Zoom call with Russell Brunson years ago because I had a broken software business and I was going to go bankrupt. And had I went bankrupt, it would have been the second time that I went bankrupt. Okay. When I said I got a bachelor's degree in pain, master's suffering, it's not just a cute thing to say. It sucked really bad.
Yeah.
And in our 20s, after the trailer park, all kinds of bad things, series of unfortunate events, my own ignorance, we filed bankruptcy, because I couldn't pay off that trailer, and it was a whole thing. It was a nightmare. So fast forward years later, I'm talking to Russell to save this other business that I had dumped $1 million into that wasn't working at all. And he literally saved it. But one of the things he told me, he said, Josh, if you have a truck full of watermelons, okay? I promise this story makes sense. Just hear me out. If you have a truck full of watermelon and you pay $1 per watermelon to acquire the watermelons, okay? So I have 100 watermelons in the back of my truck. I paid $100, $1 per watermelon, okay? Then I drive to the market and I sell all of them for 50 cents each. Does that seem like a good idea?
No.
The answer is no, because I'm losing 50 cents per watermelon, right? But what a lot of small business owners do is they have something that's not profitable and they try to scale it. And so he said that, what you're trying to do, Josh, you're trying to get 2 watermelon trucks, 4 watermelon trucks. You're trying to scale a thing that's broken, right? So back to profitability, like the way that I was charging money in that business and the way that cash moved through the business, I was doing it really messed up and it was bleeding and choking the business to death. So I made a couple of adjustments, and in 90 days, that company started to turn around because of Russell. So thank you, Russell. I've already said thank you to him 500 times for that. But the point is probably where you start with in terms of systems is profit systems. What are you doing on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday to maximize and extract margin and profit from your business? Everything else is probably secondary to that for most people.
Yeah. I mean, profit first, right? Like that book says, that's so interesting.
I know, Mike. Yeah.
Oh, nice. Yeah. I mean, I see a lot of those people as well, being a part of the ClickFunnels community. We had the 2 Comma Club Awards, and no offense to them, but it is a vanity metric, just like social media followers are truly. It's like, I know plenty of content creators who have millions of followers and they don't have a pot to piss in. No offense, but they just they're broke, and it's
or people buy followers too, so you don't even know what's real.
Well,
right? That's a thing.
That is a thing. And I actually I'm transparent about this. My community knows, but I had to redo my whole thing because I paid a marketing agency who was doing all organic, and it messed up my whole algorithm because when you blow up on Instagram with a lot of followers, so we had to unfollow everybody who was all bots basically. So it's a quote unquote shortcut that will cost you in the long run. So don't do it. Typically all that stuff like the fast, the fast ways or the 6-minute abs or any of that stuff, it's not sustainable for the long game. So you want to play the long game. You want to think about profit, not the vanity metrics of revenue. And I think you just hit the nail on the head where you have to actually set up a system for profit where you're extracting that value out of the business every single week, and to just kind of parlay into money, because I think money is a really exciting topic. It's also one that a lot of people have some, stories that potentially could be holding them back. What do you think your money story was? Why do you think you were kind of almost going on the second time of bankruptcy? What do you think was holding you back?
That money was scarce. It was hard to get. And if you had it, you must have done something bad. I mean, that's my money story right there. It's hard to get. There's not that much of it. And if you happen to get a bunch of it, you definitely murdered someone or did some evil act to make that happen for sure. I don't know why. I mean, if you look at even the media or Hollywood movies, the big rich guy is the villain in half of the superhero movies. Like Lex Luthor and all these things. And I don't know why they do that, although I do believe it's on purpose. But the truth is that money is very abundant. Money is not even physical; it's spiritual. Money is a representation of value creation, and it's so deep, Carrie. I don't even know how. I'll let you decide how deep down the rabbit hole we go.
Keep going.
But money is a very, very big deal, and anybody that acts like it's not is either thoroughly confused or just scared to admit the truth. Zig Ziglar said, "Money is not everything, but it's similar to air, and if you don't have enough of it, it's the only thing you can think about." Right? The purpose of life is not to breathe air. God didn't make us to just walk around and breathe a whole bunch and be like, "You did it, guys." Air is necessary for life, but it's not the purpose of life, right?
Yeah.
Money is identical to that. Another funny quote I heard was, "Money isn't everything, but it's easier to cry in a Ferrari." Don't know if you heard that one.
No, that's good.
And I say that half joking because look, we got to loosen up a little bit. Money is abundant. Money is not scarce. And I don't say that as a woo-woo mindset hack. It's literally not scarce. There's 150,000 millionaires just in San Francisco. Okay. Wrap your head around that. If you grew up in a small town like me, it feels like no one has money. Well, that's because I had a very limited frame of reference for what I was talking about. I was in one little tiny house in a tiny street neighborhood thing in one tiny school district where everybody's broke, and that's all. I traveled 1 mile around the area, right? So it creates a frame where money, but that's not reality. Reality is that I believe it was 2021. There were 6,800 people just in the United States that became no. It was 6,800 people per day
Wow.
in the United States became millionaires just in the United States. And this is a year after COVID. In addition to that, 81% of millionaires are first generation. Okay. So and I say that because some people listening that are programmed really negatively about money are like, well, yeah, it's because they got mommy and daddy's money. It's like, no, false, like, hear me. I love you right now, but false, not true, not true. Like sometimes it's true, but it's not typically true. Sometimes it is, but not usually.
Yeah.
Most people find a way to create excess surplus value, and they get paid in certificates of good deeds, aka dollars, because of that thing that they did. And it's my belief that the only person stopping any of us from having abundance is us. 99.9% of the time it's us, it's our brain, it's our thoughts, it's self-sabotage, it's all of the above. So I don't have any opinions, by the way. The ones I do, I don't share publicly, so don't mind me.
Yeah, right. Casual. I mean, that's like one of the things that I think keep people stuck is their money beliefs. And I was raised where my dad would like make us basically dig through the coin jar just to have lunch money, and like money doesn't grow on trees, like the old adage. And basically he was just super blue collar, had to work for everything. My mom, as well. And I think that obviously makes you a stronger, more resilient human. But ultimately, you get stuck believing some of these things. Money truly is abundant. It's a form of stored energy, right? I look at money as, okay, I deliver value, like you said, this excess abundance of value. In exchange, you get a fiat currency, like a form of stored energy that goes into your accounts. And ultimately, you can store that energy to save time later down the road. That's really what you're exchanging, time for this stored energy. And then in exchange, you can buy more time. Right. And I hope I didn't lose people there. But, that's like one of the paradigm shifts for me was, okay, well, how do I just, provide more value? Right. Like that's like really what it comes down to. And I'm just curious for you, like, what was that shift for you, and how did you actually like start to create more value, thus obviously acquiring more money?
It's really simple, and people are going to hate it because it sounds cliche, but it's literally true. And it's when you stop trying to get money and you start trying to serve others is the answer. Because when you're trying to get money, you will, but you're going to get it in very short supply, very limited amounts. In a way, if you think about like an employee gets a job because they're self-focused, generally speaking. Okay. And there's nothing wrong with these people doing this. It's just happening subconsciously. But you're like, how much do I get paid per hour? How many weeks vacation do I get? When do I get to clock out? What's their policy on this? What's their family medical leave this? And it's me, because they want to take. Now, small business owners do the same thing, except they say, how do I make $1,000 this week so I can buy my groceries and pay my bills? And so they're like $1,000. And everything is about focusing on, obsessing with, and trying really hardly to get money. And the ironic thing is that the way to get a lot of money is to do basically the antithetical, like the opposite of that, which is, how do I scratch someone else's itch? And then how do I scale the itch scratching? It's like, how do I help more people? And we overcomplicate this because it's every business solves a problem, an emotional problem. It could be a small problem, a big problem, a painful problem, a little bit painful. Maybe it's a problem where they're not in pain, but they're pursuing pleasure. I know in the Happy Hustle Club, like what you guys do with your mastermind and everything, it's insane because you're going on these like in real life adventures, which is insane. And you're bonding as a group, right? that solves problems for people. It scratches itches for people, like connection, right? And being like plugged into something. Also like the knowledge and the content and the different gurus that you bring in there every month and stuff. You're just serving. And so you figuring out new and new ways to over deliver to those people obviously produces excess value back to you, which is dollars, certificates of good deeds, right?
Yep.
That's how it works.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, my turn to talk. I was
I didn't know if you wanted to clarify anything.
No, I was literally like in the zone, like listening. Like I was just a, that's like a passive listener. Like, damn, he's on it right now. I love it. I mean, truly though, like certificate of good deeds, like that's a phrase I haven't heard, but I hope everyone out there, all the happy hustlers, like resonate with this and just figure out how you can add more value. And I know it's cliche, but it's cliche for a reason. If you just literally do your best to serve today deeper than you've ever served before, tomorrow, there's a good chance you will get more certificates of good deeds, right? So I do want to fast forward and start talking more about your current business, War Plan, and like this is a pretty cool business that you're involved in. And I want to just hear like, what was the genesis of War Plan?
I think one of my favorite quotes is that everybody sees the wine, but no one sees the crushing of the grapes. Okay. And it's actually a funny quote because sometimes if I'm speaking at an event or something, I'll say, I've had my grapes crushed. Anybody else had their grapes crushed? Anybody? Just me, right? Like, like pain is such an excellent teacher. And so War Plan is like this portfolio of companies. We have War Plan Technologies, War Plan Studios. My Corvette has license plate says War Plan. I mean,
Nice.
We have the kid War Plan, the family War Plan. We have the marketing War Plan. There's a lot of things in this big vision, but the idea is, family life, business success, whatever that means. It's a mental war. That's what it is. We're not like weird obsessed with war people. It's just, I think it's important to call it for what it is. It's not effortless. It's not simple. It can be really hard depending on what kind of trauma people have, the background they have, their own self-limiting beliefs, the people that held them down with their boot on their neck their whole life. And they're just now awakening from their sleep to like try to do the happy hustle, to try to get out of their job. Like it's freaking hard to do it. But it is absolutely possible, regardless of where you started. Like your history doesn't define your destiny, right? You can learn. So to me, it just, that word embodies it. Like I'm going to reverse engineer a plan to fight back. I'm not just going to let life happen to me. I'm going to happen to life. There's this awesome teaching Myron Golden does about the difference between transformation versus conformation. Most people live their life being conformed to the world, being conformed. That means there's outside pressure pushing in on you, shaping you like a die that makes a piece of sheet metal in a auto manufacturing plant. Most people are being conformed to others' expectations, to their parents' expectations, to the high school guidance counselor's expectations, to your church's expectations. You get programmed religiously. There's all this stuff, right? But the War Plan is about, or the War Plan way of thinking is about, how do you have transformation, meaning the inside out pressure, like stuff is happening inside of you to the extent that it bursts out and changes the world around you. And that's what entrepreneurship should be. Yeah. It's you making a dent in the universe. It's you standing for something, being polarizing, like going down swinging and trying to serve and help people on the way there. So yeah, saying all that to say this, I help a lot of local business owners make tons of money by changing the way they think and simplifying their business. And it's not that hard, right? I guess my core competency would be marketing, but I don't like saying that because people think they know what that means. And what it definitely does not mean is that I run ads for people or something. It doesn't mean that I do your direct mail campaign or I'm an agency. No. Everything is marketing, and marketing is everything. Like the way that we talk to ourselves in the mirror is a form of marketing. It's a system. So what I help people do is understand asymmetrical marketing. How do you get 1 + 1 = 3? How can we make more money with our brain instead of all the money with our back? How can we think outside the box, right? How can we burn the box? Maybe there is no box. Was there even ever a box? I don't know, right? How do we mind bomb ourselves into moving the needle in our business because there's simple brain money things you can do. Like with any company, I have a formula I teach sometimes called FRAP. FRAP is, frequency, referrals, average ticket, and pricing. Basically, if you take any company and you use your brain to think of systems, sequences, methodology, scripts, choreography, if you do a thing better, you can increase the frequency in which people buy from you, generally speaking. If I own a restaurant and someone buys tacos every 2 weeks from me, how do I get them to come once a week instead of every 2 weeks? If I do, I've doubled the value of that customer relationship. And I can do that doing simple, tiny, clever things. I can engage with them. I can give them a special note. I can get their phone number so they get a free dessert, and then text them that we're half full and we have half off drinks. Like we can use our brain to make more money. And that's just the frequency part. But then, how do we have a system, a methodology to get more referrals? Referrals are awesome because they have babies. Referrals, I call it referral inception, right? Nice. Like if I get 100 referrals, did you know that referrals, the close rate is higher on a referral, the average price point is higher on referral, and the likelihood of you getting a referral is higher if they are a referral. So it's like referral inception. You get 100 referrals, which produces 36 referrals, which those 36 produce 23 more, and those 23 produce 11, and it keeps going. So how are we using our brain and our creativity to do that? Because it's free money. And then, of course, average ticket. There's a lot to go there, but it's waking people up that everything doesn't have to be done harder, but it does need to be done more cleverly.
Yeah. Oh, this is powerful. So we got frequency, referrals. Let's finish it off. Finish off the framework for us. The A and P.
Sure. So average ticket is the A. And average ticket depends on kind of business you have, but it's the average order value of a brand new shiny customer on average, right? So if you're the restaurant example, maybe it's $27 is your average ticket for like an average customer that walks in the door. Or if you're an online marketer, you might sell something on Etsy and then upsell something, and your average order value might be $165. Whatever, a car dealership, doesn't matter. But how can we take your average order value or your average ticket, and how do we make it bigger? And we don't make it bigger just by raising prices, because the last part of this is P, pricing. And I'll explain something there that will break your brain. Okay. But before I do that, average ticket isn't about raising prices yet. It's about bundling services and creating stacks of like productized services. So if you're a service company, if you wash windows, what most people do is they say, I wash your windows. It's $200. Yes or no, right? What they should be doing is saying, we have 3 different ways we can wash your windows. We got the good, better, best, the gold, basic, and platinum, right? The premium, the luxury package, and the plutonium nitrate package, and then amazing but you create bundles of things. So there's different components in it, right? And then you can discount it and remove pieces. And the reason to do that is it creates more perceived value, but it also pushes up your average ticket. Where company A was going to get their $200 for selling windows, company B is going to have a $200 package, a $350, and a $699. And most people won't take the expensive ones, but some people will. And because I already know for a fact, based on human behavioral psychology, that some people always buy the most expensive thing, somebody's buying the $699 for company B. Yeah. And that changes their average ticket overall. So, there's so much content in there, but that's the idea of it. How do we get people to spend more on average, right? And then pricing is just raising your prices. A lot of the best people, the most ethical, honest, good people, they are squeaking by because they run their business very sacrificially, almost borderline like a nonprofit, and they feel bad making profit. And so they'll give their employees raises, their vendors raise their prices on them, and they let everyone take from them, but they don't actually understand their pricing, and they're nervous to raise their pricing. I'm here to tell you, like, you're walking a dangerous cliff ledge by not doing that, especially right now with what's going on economically and the recession and all this. There's weird stuff happening. I don't know if you've noticed. Okay. Everybody's noticed. You have to raise your prices as an act of love to not only yourself and your family and your legacy, but to your staff and the future of your business. So you got to do that. But here's what's cool about pricing. Pricing price raises provide disproportionate outsized returns to you, the owner. So I'll give you an example. let's say the window cleaner guy, $200, right? Most service companies will make like a 20% profit if they're at scale. Okay, so we'll say he makes $40 in profit. 20% of $200 is $40 in profit, right? You picking up what I'm throwing down,
Yeah.
Gary? So if I raise his prices by 20%, how much does his profit go up? This is where people get it twisted. They think, okay, if I raise it 20%, then my profit will go up 20%. That's not how it works, though. If I raise his prices 20%, his new price is $240, which means his profit went from originally $40, now it's $80, which means a 20% price increase yielded a 100% profit increase. And so every extra dollar you charge, basically, depending on your business model and all that, but more or less, all of it goes into your pocket as the owner, all of it. And so you're like squeaking by, not realizing you could charge an extra 10% and create six figures for yourself tomorrow.
Yeah.
And we got to work through those false beliefs and why you're sabotaging yourself like that.
Yeah. Ooh, that's some gold right there. I love it. And Myron Golden has been on the show. He's also a friend, and so you're in good company.
That's
I love.
awesome. I was with him on Sunday and on Friday, actually.
Oh, nice. Yeah, tell him Carrie says what up,
Yeah,
man. He's the man.
I would have, man. He's one
Yeah.
of my favorite people in the whole wide world, and he was in Dallas here where I'm at, so we connected twice.
Oh, that's amazing,
He's
man.
amazing. He'll break your
Yeah.
brain. He'll break it. He'll rearrange the furniture inside your head. That's what he said.
Yeah, for real. So frequency, referrals, average ticket order value, essentially, and your pricing. Those are really the FRAP framework that you focus on to get asymmetrical marketing off the ground and really crushing for your businesses that you consult for. I love that, man. It's simple and you can implement it right away into your business. So where can people go if they want to actually learn more about Warplan and just you? Like where can people go to just kind of get more from Josh?
If they could just send me a handwritten letter. No, I'm just kidding. No, you can go to warplan.com. I got that domain. I was so pumped to get it. I had to pay a whole bunch of money for it, but it's all brand new. But what's cool about the FRAP thing is all the stuff, that nerdy stuff we just talked about, it doesn't cost any money to do any of it. And people want to fix their business by like hiring another agency or turning on Facebook ads. It's like, hold on, like you can do that, but wait a second, like do this first.
Yeah.
Get the brain money first, squeeze all the juice out of the orange. Then from that position of power, yeah, sure. Okay, let's go build a proactive campaign to go take over the world. But I feel like we just waste so much money on marketing. So warplan.com. We have a bunch of free stuff for families. There's links to, I started goofing off on YouTube recently. That's been really fun. And I've been committing to YouTube.
Nice.
It's just my name, Joshua Latimer.
Okay.
But yeah.
I love it, man. Well, you did mention, and we'll link all that up in the show notes, guys, but you did mention family, and I would feel remiss if we didn't go there. I know it hasn't always been easy, and you've learned a lot through your early marriage, right? You have 5 beautiful children. Talk to us about some of the key things that you do in your marriage that actually keep it thriving and not just surviving.
Have lots of sex.
That's a good one.
So I just purposely did that to make everyone be uncomfortable and freak out right now. No, honestly, we call that we call that purple unicorns. And so if the idea is that a boy is blue and a girl is pink and you mix them together and you get purple, right? So purple unicorn is like a code word, but no, intimacy, physical intimacy is directly correlated to your success as an entrepreneur. And if you're a married entrepreneur, it's crazy what it does. It also changes the vibe of your house, the peace in your household. It's like, it's not like spiritual, it's spiritual. It's like a force field. Yeah. And so there's a lot of people that build these big businesses and lose everything that actually matters in the process. And I am a very flawed, imperfect person, but I will tell you that no amount of success with your company can compensate for failure at home. It cannot do it. Those are not the same thing. You're a failure if you lose your family. I don't care how many millions of dollars you make. So anyway, systems applies to family too. So date nights with your wife, one-on-ones with your kids. These can be simple things. We have, Maverick Monday and Tucker Tuesday and Judah May Thursday, Finley Friday and Sawyer Sunday.
Nice.
And we just spend time together. We'll hang out. Sawyer and I on Sunday just drove around and went. And then Maverick Monday yesterday, uh, we didn't do. So it's not perfect every time, but we usually do. And I've been doing this for 10 years. It was the smartest thing I ever did, was to have those special days with my kids, take my wife on multiple dates per week, and try to have healthy purple unicorn relations. It makes everything easier, because what it does, Carrie, it takes your marriage and it turns you into a wrecking ball. And like, you're going to have challenges and obstacles. You're going to have employees that stab you in the back. Some of your people will stab you in the front. I mean, bad things happen to good people. Adversity is real. It rains on the just and the unjust. Yes. But you want to be a momentum and become a wrecking ball, so you can face those challenges with more armor, I guess, than you otherwise would if that's suffering.
Woo! Hot fire. I love it. That is some good stuff right there. And it's simple in essence, but like, have more sex. It's not just it's not just like, sex in the way, like we had a sex expert, this like, professional sexologist on the podcast recently. I don't even know if that's a real word. Whatever she called herself. She was a professional dominatrix in the past, but she was like,
well, okay then.
yeah, so she knows her way around the body. Anyway, she had some interesting things to say. It's not just like the act of like penetration; it's the intimacy all the way through, before and after. And I think it's just, that's really what it's all about, is like that connection and fostering that. So you are, like you said, a wrecking ball together, not just these two separate parts, but like you and your family, you are solid and you're ready to face, life with that connection. And I think that's really, you look at most of the successful individuals, quote unquote successful, I think everyone has a different version, but who really I aspire to be, they have a very solid spouse. Their connection with their family is really on point, and they actually prioritize it. They're intentional, so that's awesome. I do want to ask you a couple of the rapid fire round questions, and like our happy hustle hacks, where this is like a tip, a tool, a tactic in a couple different areas. We'll do the hacks first. You mentioned health, and you got ups and downs along the journey, but I think in order to really crush it as a happy hustler, it's got to be a part of the equation. So let's say you're in your down period or your up period, one of those, but there's maybe is a unique thing that we could deem a happy hustle hack that Josh does, something like a tip, a tool, a tactic in this a health arena. Do you have something there that you could share with happy hustlers?
Yeah, extreme accountability. I mean, for me, my personality type, if I attach money in a public proclamation to something I say I'm going to do, I'll do it. If I just tell myself that I'm going to do it, maybe I will, maybe I won't. It depends, right? So what you can do is put positive pressure on yourself to achieve the thing that you actually want, which is why it's not bad to do it, right? But calling your shot, hiring a coach, a consultant, making some sort of bet. Last year, Carrie, I actually so I lost 35 pounds last summer.
Nice.
And I was having a hard time like wanting to get started. So I went on Facebook Live and I said, I will weigh this amount by August 8th. This is last year. Or I will donate $25,000 to Joe Biden's reelection campaign. Okay.
Oh,
this is what I said on my thing. So of course it's very polarizing. Everybody's like, rah, 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 rah. But what it did was, and I turned my phone around. My son had my laptop, and we were logged into online banking, and I transferred money into this account named the Joe Biden reelection fund, and I like showed it all, right? And I'm like, here's the date. So when I did that though, every week for 3 months, everybody's like, did you do it? What's your weigh? What's your weigh in? Are you eating right? You better not freaking mess this up. I'm going to find you. Blah, blah, blah. And it was funny. It was fun. But for my wife, of course, was like, Josh, why are you the way you are? I'm like, I don't know, but it is what it is, baby. I prefer that type of like intensity.
Yeah.
Not everybody does, but that would be my happy hustle hack.
Well, I love it because that's what actually, running a biohacking company for 3+ years, we would do consequences for all of our clients. And a lot of it was donated to the opposite political party. And that is a hell of a motivator.
Yeah.
So I think public
I'm
declarations and
still on. I'm from Michigan, and I'm still on the mailing list for the Ohio State Buckeyes athletic department because I gave them money years ago because I lost like a basically a commitment.
yeah,
And it's effective and
it
it's fun.
is. Yeah,
You know,
for sure. Well, I do like to ask about like a money happy hustle hack. And I know we talked a lot about money, but maybe there's like a specific tactic or something that you can think of to help maybe save or invest or spend wisely that you do that we could
sure.
deem a happy hustle hack around money.
Become radically generous in all areas of your life. Start testing the boundaries of your
Mm,
generosity, no matter how much money you have right now. Because it's a profound thing. Not only does it help someone to be insanely generous,
yeah.
it reframes your brain and it challenges your own beliefs that money is not scarce. You see, most people, they have a clenched fist on all their money. And how can you have money come in your hand when it's shut, right? You got to let it open. Money comes in, money goes out. It's fluid. It's moving all the time, right? Money is everywhere. There are hundreds of billions of dollars in every industry you can imagine. But be more generous with little people for no reason. I can't even tell you all the stories. That's one of our core values as a family is radical generosity.
Mm,
We like to help entrepreneur families build wealth, become radically generous, and engineer a family culture that changes the world. That's like our mission statement for our parent company. Um, so give $100 tip to someone at McDonald's, and maybe it makes you want to throw up a little bit, but pay attention to how you feel when you do that thing. Pay
mm,
attention to the belief and the fears that come up as you do that thing,
yeah.
because you're never going to outgive God. You're never going to give more than it's going to come back to you. It's not possible. I
Mm.
implore you to try to prove me wrong. It's one of those universal laws that will break your brain if you'll allow yourself to step into it.
Ah, so good. Radical generosity. That is some fuego, my man. Let's talk about spirituality since you went there. I think it's so important to have, faith in a higher power. I don't really care one religion or another. I just think it's important to have faith. Um, do you have something in this arena that you do to connect to a higher power? It's maybe a happy hustle hack where we could kind of get into the intersection of faith. And I know how you said money's spiritual, but like I think everything is spiritual at some capacity. Like believing in a higher power is so imperative if you want a happy hustle, a life that you love. Do you have something here in the faith game that you could share?
We got Jesus, baby. I mean, we're Jesus people.
Okay.
So we believe like every watch has a watchmaker. Like it's unreasonable to be wandering through the Sahara Desert to see a Rolex watch sitting there all by itself, and then to come to the conclusion that that is so wild. I mean, the wind must have blown at the right angle, and it must have rained at some point. So somehow these sand granules formed into this Rolex watch. It's amazing, right? And as silly as that sounds, believing that you are a cosmic accident is infinitely less likely and more ridiculous than that example I just gave. Like you were definitely made on purpose for a purpose by a designer. For
Hmm.
sure. Okay. And again, I don't have opinions, so don't worry about me. I won't share my opinion. But we believe that Jesus is Lord, that the Bible's a word of God, but the Bible's not a book about religion. It's not. It's just not. Like I think I'm sickened by like man-made religious programming and all this stuff. So even when I say we're Jesus people think that they know what I mean when I say that. Maybe you don't. The bottom line is this: is that I'm trying to stay in my lane and do what God put me here to do. Or at least I'm delusional enough to believe he put me here to do something, and I'm going to lay down my life trying to do it. So spirituality for us is believing that, and it's connecting with our creator. Imagine you chop a limb off a tree, and I'm holding it and the leaves are still green, but it's cut off from the tree. Like, is this limb alive or dead? Well, it's effectively dead. It just doesn't know it yet, right? So being plugged into Christ is like being back plugged into the tree, right? It's the source of life, right?
Hmm.
Everything was made by him, for him, and created through him. And he loves you, and he's got a purpose for you, and believe it because it's true.
All right. Amen. I love it, man. I got more questions offline about that because I've publicly tried, and I quote unquote, I don't like that term, tried, but I've went deep down the rabbit hole in all these different religions, and I haven't found one that I fully have immersed myself in. My dad's Catholic, my mom's Jewish. We went to Christian church. I grew up
Yeah.
with a Taoist priest doing martial arts. I
Okay.
believe
Yeah.
in the Buddhist way. So I'm a learner and a teacher. I mean, a student more so of all religion, but I want to
Yeah.
talk to you more about that. Anyway, this has been
Yeah.
awesome, man.
I'd love to. I mean, I have too, because it's a really important topic, right? It's
It
like
is.
my wife has a different personality type than me, but for me, like I don't want to believe something just to pretend like it's a warm fuzzy thing. Like, oh yeah, Jesus loves me. I don't say it like that. Like I literally actually believe it, because for me, I only want to believe things that I can defend on why I believe that thing. So,
Yeah.
so I've looked into Islam and Hinduism and all these things and Eastern religions and all this stuff. And there's truth in all of these things. There's truth in
Yeah.
everything, elements of truth. But I guess for me, it's like, is there a difference between lower T truth and capital T truth? Is there such thing as like an overarching unified thing that's
Yep.
actually true? I think there is, based on the evidence. I could be wrong, but I believe that. I'm fully persuaded of that. But there's truth in every. I remember one time I read a speech to a bunch of teenagers, and I said, and it was a very inspirational speech, and I'm like, tell me who gave this speech, and it was Hitler. They didn't know that because I was tricking them. But the point I was making to them was, there's warm, fuzzy good things, even in really bad things, right? So I'm trying to always figure out like what is actually true, because if it is true, I will yield to that rather than me trying to like make up what I hope is true.
Yeah.
Anyway,
No, man.
but it's an interesting discussion and it's critically important. Yes.
Yeah. No, I agree with you, man. Anyway, we could go very long time on this topic, but we won't. Let's get into the rapid fire round. This is where I ask you random things and you just answer honestly. First thing that comes to mind. Are you ready, Josh?
I'm ready.
All right. Favorite food? Go.
Shrimp.
Favorite movie?
Braveheart and Rocky. I hate favorites. Oh, it's so hard for me. Okay.
Favorite book?
Mere Christianity by C.S. Lewis.
Ooh. What's your spirit animal?
Lion.
Make the sound of your Happy Hustle war cry. Best business advice.
Start before you're ready and believe in yourself.
3 things you're most grateful for.
My wife, my kids, and my God.
And if you had a billboard for the world to see with your last piece of content on it, what's that billboard read?
Marketing is everything and everything is marketing.
Boom! Crush that rapid fire round, brother. And I just want to take a moment to acknowledge you, man, just for sharing your love, your light, your wisdom, your unapologetic self, like just slaying like David, like your hat says, and doing hard things like your emblem on the screen says. I mean, you really embody the happy hustler spirit, and I just appreciate you, man. I'm excited to, just collaborate with you more and just be a bro for you and support you any way I can. So thank you, man. I appreciate you.
Feelings mutual, Carrie. Like the ripple effect of the people you're helping that you'll never even see is profound. It's big. It's huge. It's crazy. Like you affect families and neighbors of the people that listen to your pod. Like it's crazy. Like you're just this radio transmitter of warm, fuzzy vibes to the whole world. And so I appreciate you being like that.
Thank you, brother. So I'd just like to close the show by reminding everyone, some of the best places for them to find you online. And maybe just like if you had one like sentence to just wrap up everything that you kind of shared with us today. If you had like one call to action before I ask you the final question, just give us those links again and maybe one final call to action.
Sure. You can go to warplan.com or go to YouTube and type in my name, Joshua Latimer. And my encouragement for people is to remember the truth and reality that you were made on purpose for a purpose, literally. You have a mission, a mandate, a purpose, and a destiny waiting for you, and that I believe in you. It's time that you believe in yourself and start running towards it.
So good. Final question. What does happy hustling mean to you?
Happy hustling is interesting because it reminds me of a phrase called ambitiously content. And it's this really powerful, almost paradox, right? where the world tells you you cannot have your cake and eat it too. You're not allowed to run in the hallways and chew gum, right? Like the system is rejecting this idea that you can have, they just want the hustle part. They don't want the happy part, right? And I love that phrase because you're saying, no, you can literally have your cake, eat it too while running in the hallway chewing gum. And you can have both. You know, hard work's required, but you can be content as you climb the mountain.
Oh, mic drop, y'all. Joshua Latimer, thank you for watching and listening. We are out. Peace and love, everyone.